Hello everyone, welcome. It's Jennifer from Parent Teens, and I am here today with Robbin McManne. Robbin is a certified parent coach. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's amazing. Hi Robbin.
Hello. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for being here. I'm so excited. A fellow Canadian.
Yay!
Robbin, tell us about how you got into this whole parenting coaching world.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, my story started really in labor. that was when everything sort of changed for me. Pregnancy was great, but I have two beautiful boys. So aside from being a coach, an author, and a speaker, I'm a mom and I'm a wife. And I'm a mom to two beautiful boys, and my oldest is my greatest gift. He is my greatest gift because he comes with a lot of strong-willed behavior. He's a really tough kid to parent. So he really rocked me to my core, and being his mom was such a challenge for me that I lost myself for a long time. And so to explain what I mean by a tough kid, and I say this, and I have his permission to say this. He's really sweet. He tells me it's okay to tell people what is going on with him because he knows that it helps other people. So he's also the sweetest boy as well. So my son has he has some learning disabilities. He has ADHD, but he also has depression and serious anxiety that manifests itself as obsessive compulsive disorder. And it is a really, people will blow off OCD and say, oh, I'm so OCD, I need to keep this so clean. Well, that's not OCD. This is debilitating. It is something he's always thinking about. He's always counting. He's always keeping track of things. And it monopolizes his brain space. And so when you ask him to do something else, he's explosive with anger because he just can't even keep one more thing. So it's been a journey. We noticed this when he was 5 or 6 years old starting. And so he's 13, almost 14 now. And it still is an everyday thing. And so for me, he was very, very strong-willed. He also has an explosive anger disorder. So this is the child that never says yes. My husband and I would say that he just doesn't have the word okay in his vocabulary. Like we could never say, hey bud, can you do this? He would never say okay. It was always no, right? And so what happened is I knew that he was this way because it was all my fault. I knew that I hadn't done the right things when he was younger. I knew that I had done this to him, or at least that's what I thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course it wasn't my fault. This is the way he was wired, but here's what happened to me. I was stuck in this anger spiral where he would say no and he would never cooperate. And I would get so angry and I would yell at him. And then I would look at him and look at my sweet little boy and think, oh my gosh, like that is not the mom that I want to be. I'm a pretty, happy, pretty friendly, loving person. And I was so nasty to this beautiful boy of mine. And so then I would feel bad and I would cry and cry. And I would say, no, I'll never do this again. No, I'm never going to do this again. I love you. I'm going to be a better mom. I'm going to be a better mom. And it would happen again. And then I would yell again, and then I would feel bad again, but worse this time. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is that anger spiral turns into deep shame. And this is the shame that I felt all the time. I hid myself away from people. I suffered from depression because I was just so overwhelmed and so confused and so I had no idea how to handle this. And, I was great at my job. I was great, I was great at friendships. I was great at, my marriage, everything else. But this parenting thing, I couldn't figure out. And it just made me feel so bad because as a mom, I figured I was supposed to know how to do this. I was supposed to know. And I, I think I think you and I talked about this really quickly just before we started to record, is that there is this idea that as moms, as women, we should know how to parent, but nobody really tells us how to raise a child. We don't put up a shelf without instructions. We don't make a new meal without a recipe. Oh, but here's a child that I expect you to raise, or that there is an expectation that we raise with good manners, who's grounded, who's mature, who is emotionally intelligent and resilient. But I don't know how to do that because I'm so busy feeling ashamed and feeling triggered, right? And all of my stuff is getting in the way. And then I feel bad because it's not working out the way I expected it to, let alone with a typical child. I've got one that is not typical, that is really tough. And I have to really, really be a conscious parent and make a conscious effort to parent him in a way that will get through to him. So I hope that makes sense.
It completely does. And I think we're going to find so many people can relate
Yeah.
to your story. It could be pretty much anyone's, story of you don't know, you get into this cycle of feeling guilt and shame, and you don't know what to do next. And often it does come out as anger. I could get upset with myself for not doing better. And, before kids, I was a perfect parent.
Oh, me too.
So great. I was never going to yell. I was going to say all the right things, and my kids were going to be angels and everything would be perfect. But in the real world, and I'm so glad that you can just be open and honest with us, because I feel like most of us feel this same way. And we get into this spiral of anger, and then we don't know how to get out of it. So I'm sure through your coaching, Robbin, do you help parents identify what to do when they're in this anger spiral?
Yeah.
You take them through steps, or how does it work with your coaching?
So one thing I'll add, and then I'll answer that question, is that the way I got out is I did hire a coach for myself. And that's really where my life changed. Now, I had read books, I had worked with psychologists and counselors, and none of it worked for me. It just didn't work. So it wasn't until I understood these things. And this is what I now pass on to my clients and I help them with. So I look at it on two hands. So I'm talking like this, whether they can see my hands or not. I'm like, on the one hand, we have your child, right? And we look at your child in terms of the facts, data-based information, brain science wise and developmentally, right? Developmental stages, right? Really important just to know what your child is, what we can expect from your child at any age, and also what is out of alignment with where their age is. A lot of parents have expectations of their kids that are totally too many expectations for their age, and it creates a lot of friction. So there's that part, and then there's also their behavior. So what I have parents do is not look at their behavior as good or bad, but look at it as communication. Look at it as communication, letting us know that A, there is a skill that they don't yet have, right? Or B, that they have a need that isn't getting met, like a core human need, a need for attention or affection or empathy or connection, right? Like core human needs. Or there is a feeling or emotion that isn't being recognized or validated, right? All of those is really what is under behavior, right? And then on the other hand, there's us. We look at us on this hand, and we look at why we get so angry, why we get so triggered, right? What is going on with us? What do we need? Our needs often aren't getting met, right? How many of us really put our needs first, right? We love to say it, and I love to say it too. I know that I try to put my needs ahead, but I know I like everybody else. I'm busy too, right? But here's the thing. What happens is when we've got our child and our child's behaving this way over here, we're over here and we take their behavior personally. We take it to mean something about us. We say they're doing this, so that must mean I'm failing as a mother, or they're doing this. And now, so I love to use the example of a math worksheet, like homework, right? Because this actually happened in my own life. And we're, doing a math sheet, and your child isn't getting it. You're getting really irritated, agitated. You're uncomfortable because they're not getting it. And then you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, if he doesn't get this done now, then what does this mean? Is he going to fail math? Is he is he never going to get math? Is he going to never graduate high school? And then what is he going to do next? Is he going to go to jail? Is he going to be a drug addict? Like, whoa. All we need to do is just do the math sheet. Pass or fail, it's okay. It's okay. So now with these two, the parents and the child, right? Behavior and then us, right? I show parents how to look at their behavior in a different way, how to go to their kids in a different way, how to communicate with them differently so that you get different results, right? And when you see your child in a different way, which is what I help them to do, you see a different child. It is so incredibly powerful when parents can say, oh, you know what? I see that actually he just did that because he just needed me, And so here's the beautiful thing that we do. So once we understand this, then we put the two together, and we do this to create a relationship. So the whole foundation of the type of parenting I do, which is peaceful parenting or conscious parenting, intentional parenting, it's all really the same thing, is where we build it based on a strong relationship, a relationship built in trust and mutual respect, right? Where our child knows that at any time they can come to us and we will be a trusted ally for them. And I'm talking about when they've done something wrong, or they've screwed up, or they're in trouble. They'll come to us and they know that they won't be criticized, they won't be judged. We'll just be there to help them work it out, right? And what happens as a result of a relationship like this is our kids grow up knowing, because we listen to them, we value them, that they are valuable and they're valued, that they're lovable and they're loved, and that they're worthy. And when our kids can grow up like this and become adults into this and grow up and be adults in this world, this is when they will thrive in this world and they'll be resilient. Because look, adversity is going to come their way no matter what. It comes to all of us. And so when the bottom eventually falls out, or possibly could fall out, it's not going to ruin them. They're going to have the skills that they need because they're emotionally intelligent, right? They can handle their emotions and those of others. And that when they're faced with a difficult situation, they can choose empathy and compassion instead of violence and judgment. So that is what I do. I'm so passionate about it. I love seeing this transformation. It's pretty exciting. So, so I know that was a long answer, but.
That was a perfect answer. And your excitement can be contagious, because we can take that back into our own families and be excited about just being the kind of parent that we want to be. Something we mentioned before we started recording was, these tools and how to raise our kids, they are fabulous, but there's a lot of us that get to this point of, okay, now we've got these teens and things aren't going our way and we're just not sure where we went wrong, what to do. Yeah. We're going to call you, we're going to get some coaching, but is it ever too late? Like, if we're in the midst of a chaotic, our teens are beautiful and wonderful, but it's confusing and it's a lot of turmoil and it's a lot of change. So is it ever too late to implement, creating these connections and identifying, the spiral we've got ourselves into? Tell me, give us some hope that it's not too late.
Yeah, no, it's never too late. It's never too late. You can always reconnect with your relationship with your child, right? You can connect that divide, and I'll show you how to do that, right? It's never too late to do that. And it will mean the world to your teen for you to go to them and say, look, I want to be there for you. I want you to trust me. I want to have a relationship with you because I love you. And because, I want you to know that I want to be there to support you. I want to be an ally for you, and help you. And look, when our teens are older, we do shift in our parenting a little bit, right? Because we're not parenting to teach our kids as much as we are there to mentor our kids, right? To really be a container for their angst. And it takes a lot of strength as a parent to be that, right? You know, to be told that I want you to hold me, but then push me away, or, you know, I want to tell you all my problems, but I don't want your advice. You know, and that can be really hard, but it is important to know that that's what our teens need, and that this time is a really special time because they are going to bring us close and push us away because they're getting ready to leave us, right? They're getting ready to be adults, and it's part of developmentally appropriate to do that. So, you know, I always think that when you have the information, it's so much easier to parent in a more peaceful way because you just know, oh, this is just normal. My kid's just acting his age, whether he's 2 or he's 16. They're just acting their age, right? And so doesn't that make you just kind of relax a little bit and go, oh, you know what, it's no big deal. Not as big of a deal as I was making it out to be.
That's right. And when you're relaxed and you understand that this is the process, this is the way that you know, life was intended to be, you don't have the reactions that maybe you would if you were taking it personally, you know, continuing to feel that guilt and that shame. And I love those comments. Now, something we didn't talk about was your book.
Oh, yes.
You have a book. It's available. You'll be able to find, I'll provide all the links after so you can access Robbin's book, but it's called The Yelling Cure. Is that right?
Yes, The Yelling Cure, yes.
Okay.
How to be less stressed and get your kids to cooperate without threats and punishments. That's what it's all about. And in my book, I talk a lot about my son in the book and the struggles because I don't want anyone to think that I'm perfect. You know, I still have days where I am frustrated, where I feel overwhelmed too, you know, and this is not parenting for perfection. And you know, like I get it. So I'm still in there with you, you know, it's not like, again, it's not like I'm perfect. And so, you know, and my son, he's such a gift. He's the gift that keeps giving. So I always have new challenges and new things to that are brought to light for me, and that I see, okay, you know what, I need to work on that, you know, and remind myself. And here's the thing, that because I've done this work and I've done the work for myself and I do it for my clients, you know, now when I'm angry, I know why I'm angry, and I'm able to separate the two. And when my son is having big emotions, either of my boys has big emotions, I just go to myself, I say, okay, you know what, that it's okay for him to release his feelings. I don't have to get all caught up in it, because our kids come to us so comfortable feeling their feelings, don't they? It's us that are uncomfortable. We're the ones that are uncomfortable with it. So now I can say, okay, I will allow, like, I can allow that, you know, and I am going to feel my feelings over here that are different than yours, and just really separate it. You know, I have to breathe sometimes. I have to calm myself down because I am only human, and, you know, life runs a million miles a second here in my house too. So it is important for me to calm down and really recognize why I'm mad, and ask myself, if I have a need that isn't being met, do I just need to go for a walk, or, you know, go see a friend, or spend some time with my husband, you know, something like that, or reconnect with my kids. Maybe that's what I need, you know, because that feels the best. So.
And I know your book has a lot of good tools and techniques we can use, but I'm hoping you'll come back, Robbin, and share some of this with us at another time.
Oh, I'd love to.
But I just want to make sure, I don't know if I even said exactly what you do, but you are a certified parent coach. You have one-on-one coaching, you have group coaching, and it doesn't really matter where you are, because Robbin can talk over the phone, can be a Zoom call with you. So really,
my clients are from all over the world.
Isn't that great? And that you're in it, you can relate, and you can really give some you know, solid, useful feedback and support. I love that. So thank you so much, Robbin, for being with us today. And I will make sure to recap everything that Robbin has offered, her kind suggestions for us to be able to be better parents and love the journey, right?
And there are a lot of action steps in my book too. So just know that, and it's only $5.90. So it's accessible, hopefully, to just about anyone. So I just want you to know that too. So it's an ebook that you'll find online. So just so you know.
That is wonderful. Thanks so much, Robbin.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Okay, we'll see you again.
Sounds great.
Okay,
Bye.
take care. Bye-bye.